She's just a small town girl, living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train, come anywhere. Oh, Fano, you've come round. Sorry about that. I was just doing a little bit of a break there, but anyway, welcome. I just want to give you a brief overview of the research report and what I'm looking for in the research report for 6205. So you can find in our Moodle site under assessments, as per everything that I give you, a template that you can actually use. Research report right here, and in that template you'll see exactly what I'm expecting in each section. The key thing I'm looking for in the research report is that you have actually started to engage in findings and analysis. So a lot of the stuff that you've already done in the proposal, you'll be able to transfer over to the research report. And I'm really thankful because Nikita from our 2013 class has allowed me to use her report and my feedback to her as an example. So let's have a look at it, eh? And then I can pick up my guitar again. So this is Nikita's report from last year, and Nikita chose to look at Scared Straight, and she's used the report template, so it will look exactly like this. Now I do need to just give you a heads up that so the new versions of Word are sometimes not doing spell checks, so if you need if you're finding you're not getting the red squiggly line, the way to fix that up is to press Control and then press A, and that's going to select everything. And then down the bottom here, select English New Zealand, click on English New Zealand, and then make sure that the do not check spelling or grammar is unticked. It's completely blank, okay? And take the detect a language automatically box off as well. Now hopefully Nikita didn't have lots of spelling mistakes last year, but we'll find out. I just don't want you to feel like you get caught out for spelling and you should have actually been looking at it. So anyway, let's have a look. What you'll find here is in the introduction that Nikita's got, right here, I've asked for two key things, the purpose and your key findings. The purpose for your report, you would have already picked up from your proposal. You know, the reason, it's called the rationale. Why are you doing this? The first reason you're doing it is to actually evaluate a program. You may also, though, be doing the report to develop some skills as well. So I want to see that there. You can pull out from you don't need to include from your introduction your placement agency and the place of research there. Just keep this introduction nice and short. What is the rationale? Why are you doing this report? And what were the key findings of your research? Of your research, not of the literature review, but of your research. Okay, you'll see here that the blue squiggly line here is indicating that Nikita was using the wrong affix. So here she's got tends leads to have negative affix. Often we pronounce effects as affix. So effects is a noun. The E means it's a noun, and that means basically it's a thing. So an effect is a thing. It has negative implications. It has negative results. So negative results is a noun, and that would mean it's an effect. And an affect is used for a verb, for a doing word. So when I have affected you by emotionally traumatizing you with my guitar music, that is a verb. I have affected your sustainability for the rest of this video. Now with the literature review, what I'm expecting you all to do is to look at the feedback that I have given you on your proposal. Look at the feedback and incorporate that feedback so your literature review is better, and then cut and paste your literature review. So here Nikita did a fantastic literature review, and she's taken on board all my feedback from the proposal, and so she gets good literature review, also flow through, so have a bit of a connection to your methodologies. Many of you have already done that. You're basically saying, because I found this in the literature, this is why I'm researching in this way, or this is what I'll be looking for. See in the blue, purple here is me doing some editing, and what I've said to Nikita is to cut and is to reword her methodology and the past tense. Why did I say that? Because really what I'm expecting you to do in your methodology is cut and paste. Yes, you can plagiarize your own work in the methodology. Cut and paste your methodology from your proposal. I'm trying to save you some time, but you must do two things. One, incorporate my feedback, and two, you must reword into the past tense, because a research report is written after you have done a research project. The proposal is written before. So in the proposal you will say I will be doing, and the research report you will say I did. So incorporate that rewording. You'll see here that I've also told Nikita that she should be using references to course readings on methodologies and methods. So many of you would have had that feedback within your proposal. I'm expecting to see that now coming through in the research report, if it hasn't already. Okay, so now we're getting to the findings section. I'm going to go through each case study next in separate videos and show you what I'm expecting. A good findings section tends to use graphs, and I would be saying not within the Making Waves project. It will probably use a table or something equivalent. Tends to use a graph to illustrate what's going on, and then the words after the graph explain to the reader what they are seeing in the graph. Okay, so you're talking about the picture. That's what makes a findings section. You're not talking about why you see in the picture. So here Nikita's chosen to do her first graph on how many attended Scared Straight and how many reoffended after. This is a really good graph. Your graph will have different numbers on, even if you're doing Scared Straight. And then afterwards she's told me exactly what she's got done. This graph shows how many of each race attended Scared Straight in the blue and how many of them reoffended after Scared Straight in the red. As shown, all the American Indian or Alaskan Native reoffended, and 24 out of 29 Asian and Pacific Islanders reoffended. It's an absolutely excellent explanation of the quantitative findings she's illustrated in the graph. I will stress it'll be slightly different for waves, but I'm expecting to see at least two graphs in Scared Straight and in the return to the Rangatahi Centre. You'll also see here that I've said to Nikita, try not to use a bar graph that's sort of on an angle, because it just makes things not look as clear within the report. She's fixed this up in her second graph. In her second graph, she's showing the proportion of male and female that attended Scared Straight. And again, she's gone through and illustrated that graph. Now you can go through and read this report as well. Then she's switched from here into her observation and what she's seen in the observation. An excellent description of what she's seen. She's not saying why she saw what she's seen, she's just saying what she's seen. Then she goes into explaining what she's seen in the focus groups, and you'll see here that I'm saying to her a good summary of findings also include and consider using a quote. So in qualitative research, your quotes are your illustrations. You know, it's all very well saying to someone, this is what the young people said, and paraphrasing it, but actually it's really good to quote what the young people said. Word of caution, a transcript always has spelling mistakes in, so while you're cutting and pasting from your transcripts, you should always check for spelling, and if there's swear words, you should put ... That means you're missing some words out. You should try and get them sounding as good as possible, but not sort of incorporating a lot of swear words in the discussion. So what does the analysis do? The analysis is now telling us why you saw what you saw. And how you do the analysis is you look at your literature review and you look at your findings and you see how everything seems to come together. What's the big picture? So really, what have you found out? That's what happens in the analysis and the discussion. Nikita does an absolutely excellent analysis, and I'm feeding back to her that she needs to do a bit of referencing back to the literature review, right to the point that I would say either as shown in the literature review, or it should be noted that the research, she'll now reference her literature review research studies, show that these programs can work. Really good analysis and discussion is showing what the findings are and why you think those findings are actually coming through. I'll let you read that section. It was an excellent analysis section. Again, I said put some references in. That's pretty cool. The conclusion and the recommendations, all that section is doing is saying this is what I found out overall, the key findings. It's restating them like you would in your introduction. It's making some recommendations towards the program and some recommendations towards your placement, when it comes to those findings. Now, if your placement is completely opposite to something like what you evaluated, say you're in a health service and you evaluated scared straight, your findings might be something as simple as we should not be looking at these sorts of interventions. But you should be able to find one or two findings either to do with the outcomes, the results that you found, or the process of evaluation. You may even say, out of this, I would recommend that whenever we engage in evaluation research within our placement, that we actually do a bit of a literature review. Sorry about that, folks, with an email. Now, there's a reference list then, and you'll find that also in your template. It's saying, include any examples of the questions that you've used in your survey instruments. If you did that in your proposal, you do not need to submit it again. I would say just avoid that, okay? But if I said to you it would have been good to have an appendix, consider putting together your own set of interview questions, just so I can again see that you're able to ask very good questions. I'm not too fussed on that, and I'm not going to be really looking at it, but if you didn't do it in your proposal and you feel like you want to get a couple more marks, throw a bit of a mock interview there, just so that I've got an idea about whether you understand the process of research. Right, that's it. I'm getting back to singing and playing my guitar, but I won't stop believing in you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing your reports.